Hello, everybody. This is Mike from the Hey, Are You Still There podcast. My wife Beth and I would like to invite you to join us each week as we examine life at the intersection of marriage, family, careers, and ministry. Through 28 years of ministry, 26 years of marriage, 23 years of professional careers, and 21 years of being parents to 3 kids, our fun and honest discussions promise to have something for everyone. And now, on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hey, Are You Still There podcast. This is Mike.
And Beth.
And we're back.
And it's just us.
It's just us this week. No more kids being interviewed or missionaries being interviewed. Mm-hmm. Just back to the way it was meant to be.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
Yes, it is sweet.
Although you did make me grumpy, with hurry up. We need to record the podcast.
Well, okay. It's 10-8. Okay, let me back up. I had to take our dog to the vet today for annual shots checkup, but nothing serious. Took her to the vet, got home. It was like 9:30. So I was prepared to go to work. And you said, I'll be ready at 10 a.m. if you want to do the podcast. I said, that's fine. I said, what are you doing? You said, I'm ordering stuff for baby showers.
Yes.
Because we have friends that are having babies very soon. So then it got to be like 10:05. And I said, Beth, are we going to do the podcast? Because if we weren't, I said, I got things I need to go do. And you said, some of us has to work too.
Well,
I'm just like, what? Like, I'm sorry. Are you getting paid to order presents?
It takes a minute to order present. I mean, when I say a minute, I don't mean long, but then I have meetings and stuff, and I'm going to probably have to have meetings during lunch, which is why I was looking like, when can I fit this in?
That's all I was saying.
But I'm not going to have a
time.
lunch break, so then it was like, this is it. Well, okay, but we made it work. It's going to happen now.
Well, one of the things with Maria. Maria is our middle child. She lives life to the fullest, would you say?
Yes.
Every second she tries to cram in.
Yes.
And whatever. Mm-hmm. And that gets on your nerves with her because you're like, why doesn't she leave any margin for stuff? Why does she always have to pack everything and she's late for stuff and, Where do you think she learned that from? Because it was from one of her parents, but it wasn't me.
Well, we've talked about this before. It's our time blindness. We just don't know how long it takes to do things. And so we just have this endless optimism when it comes to time. We just believe that, if there's 3 minutes there, I'm not going to waste it, doing something else. I got to use it. And so that's the other thing.
But then when you use it, it infringes on what you had to do next.
But part of the problem is, with this, I'm like, I just need you sitting here ready to go.
You want me wasting my time, which I did. I sat here, I ate a bowl of cereal, I had some awful coffee.
What is wrong with my coffee?
It was not good.
What was bad about it?
I don't know. Maybe it was just the bottom of the thing over there. I don't know. It wasn't very good.
Was French press.
And then when I drank it, there was residue stuff in the bottom. I mean, why is that?
I don't know. I mean, it was French press. I did it all.
Okay.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Just make your own coffee then.
I will.
Okay.
And then I just sat here. And that's why I asked. I was like, if we're not doing it, I've got things I need to do. Mm-hmm. And then you got mad.
Very busy things like disc golf.
That's later today. I haven't played disc golf in 4 or 5 months.
Yes.
Because it's been so blazing hot.
Yes, it's been miserable.
But no, I have office work to do.
But we did get to play pickleball finally the other day. And it was hot, but it wasn't 100 degrees
I mean,
hot.
It was too hot for Ross.
Well, yeah.
He played,
he wore out, but he
didn't play long.
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. And we invited our friend Danielle to meet us. This was Saturday? What day? Yeah, it was a Saturday.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
It was a Saturday, yeah. Somehow we were able to get a court. Now, it would have been better if we could go in the morning, but Ross can't leave the house before what time?
1. So his sweet spot is 1 to 4.
Right, which is not the sweet spot when you're still in August.
Yeah.
That's the because even if Ross would meet at like 10:30 Saturday, it would have been significantly cooler and he could have endured
We
longer.
revolve our life around Ross. That's what it's come down to.
Yes. When can Ross play pickleball?
Yes.
But Danielle came, so we were able to switch off playing doubles, and we were able to get a court, which at the court we go to, sometimes it's
packed.
It's packed. And it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, really
Danielle hadn't played in years, but she warmed up.
She was great. Yeah.
I bought Danielle a present.
Ooh. Would you talk about it on here? She doesn't listen. Or does she listen?
I sent her a picture.
Oh, okay.
I bought her a pickleball paddle.
Oh.
She came with one that was like wooden, like you would play at the beach.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you can't use that. And so we gave her a spare to use. And
significantly improved her game.
Yes, it did.
Better equipment. Yeah.
And so like a day or two later, earlier this week, I had a little bit of time to kill, and I was over at our Hope Center. I dropped off some stuff, done some things, and I was on my way to pick up Josh. And I was like, I got 10 minutes. I'm going to pull in Goodwill. So I pulled in Goodwill, and they had a pickleball paddle for $3.
Nice.
So I picked her up that pickleball paddle and sent her a picture. I said, here you go. Don't say I never gave you anything.
Well,
she was very excited.
That you didn't have to tell her it was only $3.
I didn't tell her that.
Oh, okay.
No, I did. I said, well, don't, because I sent her a picture. I said, don't go out and buy a pickleball paddle because I just got this for you. And she said, what about me thinks you what about you thinks that I have my life so together, I would go out and buy a pickleball paddle, which that was true.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I got you this one. And she was very thankful. I said, well, you don't have to thank me too much. It was $3 at Goodwill, but it was intact and it was better than what she had.
Well, I do have to say one note really quick that I thought about because I was like, oh, what are we going to cover on the podcast? I've forgotten. One thing I did want to note, man, it's hard when your kids are adult kids and have birthdays and don't live with you.
I mean, it's hard for some.
It's hard for me. It's sad.
It was hard for me because I had to do a lot of driving.
Well, yes. So our son Jacob just had his birthday and he's in Boone. And so it was going to work out for us to drive up to see him. But the problem is when we left Winston, I worked in the office that day and the road that we needed to go on was completely blocked at one point. So then we had to reroute. So what should have been a much shorter, like an hour and a half drive became well over a 2-hour drive one way. And so,
to go meet him on his birthday for dinner.
Yeah. And then I felt guilty the entire time because I thought about like getting a cake or cupcakes, but then with the rerouting and all of that, plus I was like, I don't know if I should just take those in the restaurant, and I'd hoped the restaurant would have a dessert that he wanted, but then he was full and he didn't really like the desserts that they had. So we didn't do a dessert. So we didn't even sing to him. He didn't blow out any candles. It felt anticlimactic too because we've transitioned a lot to giving experience gifts, to each other in our family, which is good because it gives us the ability to later enjoy time together or for somebody to keep enjoying something. Like he likes snowboarding. He has a lot of the snowboarding gear. So one of the things we're going to give him is like a pass. So then he won't have to pay. So that's going to be great for him this winter. But, it's just different as they get older because like Christmas and birthdays, you used to have the bags. They would sit there and that everybody would look and anticipate and be excited and shake the present and wonder what's in it or what they would get. And there was things to open. And, this was just, I just felt bad, like for him.
He turned 22.
Yes.
There's no more special birthdays till he's 40.
Oh, please.
The next 18 years are going to be just like this.
Every birthday is special, I think, that my children are alive. And Jacob, everybody can read about it. There's a Facebook post, but he's a miracle baby because when I was 24 weeks pregnant, I had a placental abruption and was on bed rest for 12 weeks. And placental abruptions are very dangerous for the mother and child. So Jacob is a miracle. And even though he's all tall and big now, he was premature. And so,
I thought about this on his birthday because you did post that.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, this is your Al Bundy moment.
What do you mean?
On Married with Children, Al Bundy, whenever he wanted to seem like he'd be like, I scored 4 touchdowns one time in a high school game. And he would bring that up all the time as his badge of honor. And I'm like, this is Beth. Like, she can't talk about Jacob's birthday without talking about the 12 weeks on bed rest. Like, that's your 4 touchdowns.
Okay, but let's talk about this. That's our first pregnancy. And you're told that your baby may not live.
Hey,
and
that's fine.
I didn't get to pick out a crib.
You pushed that kid across the goal line, Beth.
But I'm just saying, it was significant because we didn't get to do any of the things couples do. Like right now, I'm buying these baby gifts and I think about they will have normal baby showers. I had baby showers in the hospital, you know.
I bet you pray people don't have normal baby showers.
No, I don't. I'm glad that, but I'm just saying, like, it was a very traumatic experience. I mean, me, like to lay in bed for 12 weeks in the hospital. I wasn't even at home. I mean, that, and also the other thing I thought about just how much things have changed, how different it would be now, because then we would borrow VHS tapes. Remember the hospital had like a TV that had a VHS player? And you would bring Scrabble and stuff because we didn't know about all these other board games. We played so much Phase 10 and Scrabble, but I had to get an answering machine because we still didn't have cell phones.
Oh, we did have cell phones.
Oh, did we? Then why did I not have people calling my cell phone?
They were just calling the hospital, but yeah. This is 2003, Beth. It ain't 1903.
But I was just, but I'm still saying.
People ain't writing you letters and sending it by carrier pigeon.
But you weren't like texting.
No, we weren't texting
or FaceTiming. Because if this happened to me today, you would have been able to go out, like when you went to shop for the crib, you would have been able to just FaceTime me, walk around the store, and be like, oh, zoom in on that or show me that. You know, it would have been you would have been able to stream movies and TV shows. You'd be able to communicate with so many people. It was just very different because then it was like, people had to physically bring me books to read, or people had to like let us borrow VHS tapes, or we had the like I said, the answering machine, you know, because people would call and I couldn't always get to the phone, and so we had an answering machine that had the little tape in it that somebody brought that let us use in the hospital room. So I'm just saying it was a very different time to be on bed rest in the hospital.
How have you made Jacob's birthday about you now?
Well, I'm just saying, I don't know how we even got off on this, but okay, so we'll make it my Al Bundy moment. I'll just start labeling it that way. Everyone, let me talk about my Al Bundy moment. I think, but it's not just that. I think it's a very different, everybody's birthday, of course, is special, but I think what I'm saying is just that because this happened with my very first pregnancy, this made me realize every pregnancy isn't a normal pregnancy. Every pregnancy isn't easy. Every baby's not born healthy, you know, like, and so if your baby is able to grow up to be 22, that's quite the blessing. And so I just think it's, you know, because it wasn't normal. So I just think it makes me reflect even more during his birthday on, wow, what a miracle it is that not only that he's alive, but he didn't have all the
here's the thing,
complications he could have had.
Jacob doesn't remember any of that. So to him, it's not a miracle.
Big deal.
Yeah, it's just another day.
Well, but that's like saying then, okay, but I feel like birthdays are special for moms in different ways.
Oh, I think so too.
And they're special for the children. And so I guess that's what I'm saying. Does that mean that I was totally about celebrating his birthday, and I wasn't talking to him about the bed rest. I do like to sometimes think, now, why don't you appreciate me
you
more?
do. You say that. You don't just think it. It comes out. If you think it, it comes out of your mouth. I've heard you say, Jacob, I spent 12 weeks in the hospital with you, and you can't even clean up your room.
Yeah. So, but I guess it's an experience for the mother too. So we sometimes are reflective. And birthdays are interesting for me because I have really mixed feelings around birthdays. You know, I have high expectations around birthdays and holidays. So then there's kind of a sadness and a nostalgia, and I'm happy and it's joyful, but sometimes there is a little more melancholy to it of like the passing of time, the passing of different stages. I don't know. Birthdays are complicated. I don't think they're just this simple, easy thing.
Well, Yeah. I mean, I think it's just different. I think it's, you have this emotional attachment to birthdays.
Right.
You'll fight me on this. I think that it's only child syndrome because when we got married for Beth, being an only child, I had to learn very quickly. You didn't have a birthday. You had a birth month.
Well, I kind of just demanded that.
Yeah.
I don't think my parents did that. That's a me thing.
I know, but
like,
you were the center of your parents' life. So you wanted to be the center of everyone's life. And so it wasn't enough just to celebrate the one day in October for your birthday. We had to celebrate all 31 days.
We don't celebrate
Not
on
now,
31 days.
but then. We've slowly whittled that down.
To like an
birth
hour.
Week. I would say now it's down to a week.
Like on my birthday this year, we're having the Halloween trunk or treat or whatever at church, and Maria's going to be gone. There will be that's part of the problem too, I guess, with birthdays or any holiday. So much emphasis is put on the one day. So if you can make it a more holistic, this is kind of the week that we celebrate, then you don't get as disappointed if somebody can't be there that one day. I don't know. Anyway, all I was trying to say about all of this is that this has been harder for me than I expected. When you think about your kids becoming adult children, there are a lot of different things about it. And we've talked some about the challenges of how do you parent them and how much independence do you give them and when do you insert yourself? But this just made me think about how hard it is. Last year, I think, was when Maria was at Disney. That was the first birthday that one of my children had that I didn't see them because I couldn't fly to Disney on her birthday. The first, when she was there for 8 months. And so, we saw her pretty soon thereafter for a mission trip. She flew up to meet us, but that was hard to not be with her. And I know people do it all the time. People live across the world, but I think the first few times you're experiencing it, it's different because you've always had your children there on their birthday. And even though it's their birthday, you as the parent have a lot of your own connection to that day and memories around that day. And so it's just affected me more than I thought it would to not. And like you said, I mean, we drove that far and then probably we're only together an hour, because, and so, I mean, it's worth it. I'm glad we did it. I want to do it. I'll do it for my kids to see them. But I just miss when we were able to have the grandparents or friends and have the cake and, just have more time together on the birthday celebration.
More time celebrating you.
No, him.
Yes.
No, we were celebrating him.
I think he was fine with it.
But I'm a quality time person.
You are.
So I just feel and maybe it's me projecting. I think he was fine with it, but I felt disappointed on his behalf.
Quality time is not his love language. So us spending quality time with him didn't do a whole lot.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, that's a challenge. That's a parenting challenge as your children get older.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's a different thing. And so, anyway.
Well,
you're not very compassionate about it. And I can't believe I even talked about this because you've just turned all this around and already made me angry. So what's our next topic?
Are you angry?
A little bit,
Why?
yeah. Because you keep saying, oh, well, this was about you. I'm trying to be heartfelt about
I'm sorry.
My experience in my children growing up and their birthday. And you're turning around oh, well, it's all about you. Well, no, I think if you talk to a lot of mothers.
No, I wasn't saying that. I was saying you make birthdays bigger than a lot of people do. And through that, you think everyone's birthday should be a big deal. And to some of us, our birthdays just are not a big deal.
Your dad took off work on his birthday every day of his life. It's in your family, too. Your dad thinks a birthday is a big enough deal to take off work.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, I think lots of people think birthdays could be a big deal. And just
saying I don't want to work on my birthday is not the same as we need to have a party or go somewhere.
I just feel like everybody should know their life is important and should be celebrated in some way. And birthdays just happen to be a way and a time that we do that. There's no other time when I'm just
What about the other 364 days a year? We don't acknowledge them?
Well, we acknowledge them, but I'm not coming around saying, man, I'm really glad you were born today. So I just think people, I don't know, should get to feel special on their birthday.
I took my birthday date off of Facebook because, you get all these drive-by happy birthdays.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but it's on there. It tells people I hadn't heard from since the last birthday, write something on there. So I just took it off. And so I was like, you know what? I think anybody who actually remembers and calls or texts or whatever on my birthday, those are the people who really love me.
Okay.
So
this is going to become your next Christmas card, like controversy.
No. So there was about 10 people. So
okay, let me tell
those are the ones that have now moved up the list of my favorite human beings.
Okay, but let me push back a little bit on this. As a person who's terrible with remembering dates, even though people's birthdays, they may be on my calendar. I'll have them on my work calendar and my home calendar. I'll see it briefly and forget. Sometimes, though, when I see that people have been wishing them happy birthday, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I forgot. I need to send them a note. I just think it's another way for me to be reminded.
See, I'm different. I see people's birthdays. And I hold my happy birthdays so, I don't know how to. I hand them out. Yes,
birthdays.
I hand them out like they're limited edition, right? Like there's just a certain amount for every year. And so I see someone's birthday pop up on Facebook, and I think to myself, does this person deserve a happy birthday from me? Honest truth.
Okay, how is this not like love? I have unlimited love in my heart, so I don't have to sit around and say, oh my gosh, I've only got enough love to love one child today, so I won't love the other two. How hard is it to do a happy birthday?
If I see a happy birthday on Facebook and I'm like, you know what? This person does deserve a happy birthday. I don't write it on Facebook because it just gets lost in the shuffle. I will send them a text and say, thinking of you today, happy birthday.
Okay, now I don't think that's necessarily bad because you're right. I do think it's hard to put
but
out the happy
I'll only
birthday.
give out maybe 12 of those a year, if that. Maybe single digits.
Gosh, okay.
Because I'm like, I don't want everybody to think that I'm just out here willy-nilly passing out happy birthdays.
I didn't know this was like an exclusive currency, the happy birthday
well, just
wish,
from me.
But,
I mean, they
gosh,
can.
Okay.
Everything in our marriage boils down to cats and dogs. You're the dog of birthdays. Tongue out, tail wagging. Excited. I love everybody's birthday. Everybody loves me. Happy birthday, everybody.
Yes.
And I am the cat. I may acknowledge you. I may not. It's up to me.
And you're only going to give affection when you want something or when you just...
what happened last night? Our cat that never shows affection jumped up on the couch with you. And you were like, Mike, it's happening. The cat's on me. Like he's sitting there. I can rub him. And then the cat hopped down. But you had that moment where you were like, and that's how I want my birthdays to be.
But then you said
I want my birthdays to be
because he wants to be fed. So then I'm wondering though, as you're telling me this, when you want your birthdays, I'm like, now I'm going to be wondering, what does Mike want?
Yeah,
what
I probably do want something.
He wants in exchange for this birthday.
Selfishness is my spiritual gift. I've said that before.
You're probably going to be like now, well, I gave you a happy birthday. Why didn't I get a thank you note in acknowledgement
I don't need any of
that you got a happy birthday?
Because I'm in my heart, I'm like, you know what? I said happy birthday to them. Good for me. Like they got one of my limited edition happy birthdays.
You should make up some type of little card, like with a numbered card, like there's 12 of those or something, and you don't have to limit it to one per month, but it could be like this limited.
That is a great. I'm going to do that in
happy
2026.
Birthday. Okay, do that with Christmas cards too.
You are the recipient.
This is a special numbered 1 out of 12, kind of like, you number your paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 out of 12 of the cards.
I'm doing it.
Go get exactly 12 of the same cards.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to mail them. It's still going to be some kind of text.
Oh, that's right, because that would go against everything you believe in your heart. Okay, so you're going to have to make maybe on Canva or something, some type of limited edition happy birthday.
Yeah, with AI something. I'll just tell it what to do, and it'll print me out.
And just make sure people
card.
know where they are in their 1 through 12.
Well, I mean, it's going to have to go in order, I mean, whoever has a birthday in January is going to get number 1. I don't want to rank them.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And I'm not even saying, if I do that, that's a great idea, but I'm going to have to think through it. Do I include family in that? Because, I mean...
I hope not, because there's 4 of us that live in this house, and that would use, 4 out of your 12. So unless you're going to, I really hope you're not going to decide not to acknowledge me and or your children. That just feels
Well, that almost feels
wrong.
like I have to. Like, that's not...
so now we're just an obligation.
Yes.
We're just like obligatory.
Yes.
This doesn't really count. You're not really worthy even maybe of one of the 12, but I just have to do this.
Well, I mean, think about it. You have already started that precedent of not doing for birthdays. Because when I turned, my birthday was about almost 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
That night at our little get-together, we went out to eat. We came back. We had cake and ice cream.
With cat plates and a cat theme, which I thought was very thoughtful.
I'm getting to the point of the story.
Okay.
I think it was your mom said, Michael, I didn't see anything on social media today, Beth or anybody wishing you happy birthday. And I was like, nope, it wasn't on there. So you've already started I'm not going to acknowledge my husband's birthday to the world.
Here we go.
So it doesn't matter if I acknowledge or not.
But do you expect that? Because
it would be nice.
Okay.
If words of affirmation is my love language, which it is, wouldn't it be nice for me to log on to Facebook and see pictures of me like you do for the kids?
Well, I thought that...
And a little story about how hard it's been to be married to me?
Okay, I thought that the heartfelt cat-themed party and gifts, including the cube with cat pictures on it, I thought that was sufficient to give you some affirmation.
I will remember that the next time you post a happy birthday to our kids on social media.
No,
because I'm going to be like, I thought what we are giving them was good enough. Why do we have to advertise that, hey, they're happy birthday?
Okay, I will make sure I'm going to put it on my to-do list so that I won't forget. I'll do that right now. Post for Mike's birthday, because this is a sore spot for him. But we need to move on because we've got other things to talk about.
We don't really have a whole lot to talk about.
We have other things. I mean, I'm tired of arguing about birthdays, and I'm glad that I'm the dog of birthdays. That's all I have to say. So, and you can just be the curmudgeonly cat that nobody knows. That's part of the problem, too. No one knows what you really want because you just want what you want when you want it, and you don't want what you don't want when you don't want it. And so, there's
nothing wrong with that.
Just makes it difficult.
Well, if we're talking about birth, there's another end of the spectrum.
Yes.
Death.
Yes.
Beth, you will die one day.
Let's not talk about that. We're not going to get into that whole thing or like that show we watched where somebody had a death calculator. Not doing that. But you do have a story.
I did do my death calculator.
Oh, this is
remember
so
I told
dumb.
you the other day.
Yes.
We were watching a TV show, and it was a comedy, and somebody looked up somebody else when they were going to die, and then, of course, that person gets all paranoid.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me look it up. So there is like deathclock.com or something. I don't know what it is.
Which, obviously, as we said, must be accurate.
Yeah, so I answered a series of questions and found out I'm going to live to 92. I think I'm going to die. I think it said August 6th, 2067.
And then I got sucked into the, wait a minute, what did it ask you to decide this? Because you literally entered your information in under 2 minutes. So it didn't, I guess, know your like blood pressure and cholesterol. And instead it asked you things like, are you a reasonably active person or something? Like, so we could tell. Well, if that were all it took.
Asked me things. I had to give my birth year. Are your parents still alive? Yes. I mean, there's things like that they can kind of project.
I'm sure. With probably, I don't know, 2% accuracy.
92. I'm on my third wife by then.
Oh.
You're going to be dead.
No, I'm living to 100,
no, you're not.
But you may still be on your third wife.
You may not make it to 55.
With this whole birthday thing and how mad you've made me, you could still be on that third wife.
I'm going to need somebody to take care of me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
At 92, you got to be changing some bags or diapers or something.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
I can't do that myself. I'm 92, Beth.
Can you please? I am only a few months younger than you, so I don't know why you think I'm going to be in such great condition. Anyway,
You won't even be around.
tell your story because it blew my mind. Your story. So basically, you had to do a funeral
Yeah.
for someone.
Let's get so.
Yeah. So how did that happen?
2 years ago, Jacob wanted some new tires for his car, like wheels, right? Rims. So he had been looking. We found some on Facebook Marketplace. I messaged the guy, and it turns out he lives like 2 miles from us, which is crazy. And so he volunteered to bring the tires over to the house. He said, I already have them on a trailer. Let me just bring them over to you.
That's next level service. So
It
if we ever
is.
purchase on Facebook Marketplace, we'd love it if people do that for
He
us.
spoiled me.
Yeah.
He came over, super nice guy. And we ended up talking for a little bit, and he asked me what I did, and I told him I was a pastor. Well, then he leaves. I pay him, he leaves. I don't hear from this guy for 2 years. So then he messages me on last Tuesday and says, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I sold you and your son some tires for his car a couple years ago. You told me you were a pastor. He said, my wife just passed away on Sunday, and I wondered if you could do her funeral.
Yeah.
How do you say no to that, right?
Exactly. And it's just mind blowing. I don't know, like that would, I mean, 2 years later that you're the one that comes to his mind and stuff. And that.
Well, I did found out a little bit more.
Okay.
They are involved somewhat at a church.
Right.
They go to a church. The pastor was at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess wasn't going to come back and do his funeral.
Yeah.
They have other pastors on staff, but for whatever reason, none of them
could do it.
or wanted to do it. Or maybe he didn't ask them.
Yeah, he might.
I don't even
might
know
have
if
just,
he even asked his regular pastor.
Right.
But
for some reason, though, he reached out to you.
Yeah. And so, but I didn't realize that we had become Facebook friends.
Mm-hmm.
And he had been watching me for the last 2 years, he said. And he was like...
preach or
no,
just
well,
do
at
life?
least
just
do life.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
When he was introducing me to like family and stuff that day, he said, this is Pastor Mike. He is an awesome man. He does all these mission trips. They just got back from one. So he had been tracking me.
Yeah.
And
so it wasn't like he just delivered the wheels. 2 years went by and he never had a thought of you. And
it's like he knew of me.
Yeah.
And kind of saw some things. And then when his wife passed away, it was like, I'd like for you to do her funeral.
Yeah.
And so I went and did the funeral. Mm-hmm. And I've probably done more funerals for people I don't know than I do know, which is kind of odd.
Yeah.
Now, they're always connected somehow.
Right. It's not like just a random stranger in California or something.
Yeah.
It's
And so most of the time, it's a friend of a friend or a family member of a church member, but nothing like this, where it's just someone I met one time 2 years ago.
Right.
And from what I was able to gather about the wife, she was young. I mean, she was like mid-50s. So, I mean, she's not much older than us.
Yeah.
Passed away from ovarian cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But she was beloved. She was a hairstylist here in town. All these people knew her. All these people loved her. And after talking with a lot of people, you try to gather information leading up to the funeral.
To make it more personal. Yeah.
I said this in the funeral. I said, there's been few times in my life where I'd hear about somebody that I could no longer meet. And I would think, man, I would have liked to have met them. Mm-hmm. And that lady was one of them. I heard so many good things.
Yeah.
I was like, she sounded so fun.
Right.
And
caring.
And everybody talked about her sharp wit and sarcastic humor. And I would have loved that, and
you would have gotten along.
Yeah. I mean, I think I would have got along with her really well.
And
we were all standing in the family room before the funeral, and there's 20 of us, right? You could have heard a pin drop. And her brother goes, he calls her by name. She would have been cracking jokes right now because she couldn't have stood all this quietness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that would have been fun, to have somebody like that. And so, I did the funeral. It was an easy funeral because She was
so
beloved.
Yeah.
She was a Christian. So you didn't have to kind of dance around.
So you could feel like there's hope that you can give the family. She's loved. So you've got stories you can tell about a life well lived and well loved. I thought there was one, I don't know if you want to tell this story, but even a connection to somebody from way back in our past.
So we planted a church back in 2003. And
literally, I came home from the hospital with Jacob, and the church launched like a week later.
Yeah, Jacob's birthday was the 26th of August, and we launched that church on September 7th.
Because you had left your job to decide to plant a church like a few weeks before I ended up in the hospital. And we had plans for what we were going to do. So needless to say, that was quite the curveball that was thrown at us. But we did launch that church, And
so we met the first little bit, year and a half, in a movie theater. Mm-hmm. And the movie theater had this manager. And so we got to know him because we were using the theater on Sunday mornings for church. And he worked at that theater for
a really
20
long
years.
Time. Yeah.
I mean, a long time. And he's about our age and maybe a little younger, but he's right around our age. And but I hadn't seen that dude since COVID, because when COVID hit, that theater closed down. It never reopened. Yeah. I mean, somebody ended up buying it a few years later and reopening it, but it's not the same.
It's not the same owners and stuff.
So I hadn't seen that dude in 5 years, but he's there. He's at the funeral. And so I get to go talk to him and his wife, and come to find out that lady who passed away set them up. Like, she was their hairdresser, and she was 25 years ago, whatever it was like, oh, I think you should meet so-and-so. I think it would be really good for each other. So she set them up on a blind date, and now they've been married. They have kids.
Which is really cool to think about, like those little tentacles of like influence she had on all these people's lives through her job,
Well,
like
and
through
another
what she did.
Small Sunday morning before church, we always meet with the worship team in my office, and we just kind of go around, share some praises, prayer requests, and then pray before the service. And so we were doing that. And when it got to me, this is 2 days after the funeral. I was like, I had to do this funeral this week. And I was like, I kind of gave them the real quick 30,000 foot flyover. And I just happened to mention their last name. And Faith, our worship leader, was like, you did so-and-so's funeral? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, that's my hairdresser. And Faith was like, I was planning on going to that funeral, and I got busy and lost track of time and didn't make it. And she was like, but that's my hairdresser. And I can't believe you did my hairdresser's funeral. And this is our worship leader.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it was just kind of this.
She just had like
this impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think about that too. My hairdresser I've had since before Jacob was born. And I know this is another tie back to the time in the hospital, but I started seeing her after we got married and moved to Kernersville. And when I ended up in the hospital on bed rest, she came to the hospital and cut my hair. Anyway, I don't know why that makes me want to cry, but I think thinking about this lady and the impact that she had, and my hairdresser, we know so much. I mean, I know her daughter's name. I know all about what her husband does. I know about her parents. I mean, you just talk and you think about that is somebody you see and talk to them sometimes more than you do your doctor or your dentist or, there's all other people you interact with, but there's also that time to just like talk and share things. And
and I use that, at the funeral. I hadn't planned on saying this. It was a God, Holy Spirit thing. It just hit me. And I said, being a beautician was her calling, but the hair salon was her mission field.
Yeah.
Because all these people had stories of that, just like that, just sitting in her chair, talking life, and I think good hairstylists, obviously you got to have a love for that kind of thing, like hair and, you just like doing that.
Yeah.
But you've got to have a heart for people.
Yes.
Or else that would get old.
Yeah.
And, there's a big difference in going to, like our friend Kim has a hair salon.
Right.
You go there and she's just like your hairstylist, knows the people, knows their families. They know her families. They talk. versus going to say a great clips
where you just
sit down.
Whoever. Yeah.
How you want your haircut?
Yeah.
Out. There's no
Right.
interaction.
Right.
So this lady was definitely someone who had poured into a lot of lives in 30 years. She had been doing it 30 years.
Wow.
And had poured into a bunch of lives, and they were there to celebrate her. But yeah, that was her mission field, was her chair.
And I think that's the other cool thing, because I've been reflecting a lot since our mission trip, just about like how you come back from like a mission trip, and a lot of times that's a mountaintop experience for people. And what I mean is, you're with all these other people who are committed to the same goal. You're living in community. You're going out and serving people every day. You tend to have your head and your heart in the right place because you're debriefing and praying, and you're where you need to be. And then you come home and you get kind of sucked back into normal life, and you're like, well, what impact am I making, doing spreadsheets or, researching this, or you just don't, you feel, I guess, almost like in the valley after that mountaintop experience. So I've been reflecting a lot, though, just after watching the missionaries there. We had another missionary that came and spoke at church on Sunday and shared, but just about like, for those missionaries, that's their everyday life. Just like this, like they're not, I know they're missionaries, but it's their everyday life. That's their community. That's their people they work with. And I think that's the thing, like this woman got, was like, we love to do the bigger things. And I think it's important to stretch yourself and do the trips. But like, I think she got, that those relationships, that the time that you're spending, that investment over time in those relationships and in those people, that's often where real change happens with people, is like when you just keep showing up, when you're consistently there. And I just think that's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really special. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So, and I've been, for whatever reason, all summer, the theme that I've been reminding myself and reminding others when I'm around them is interruptions.
Yeah.
God's in the interruptions. And I had stuff to do that Friday, and I just cleared my plate to focus on them. And I've learned to be more and more open to God's interruptions, that if something pops up like that, that's something I need to take care of, and everything else can wait.
Which is interesting, because I had not viewed it as interruptions until we went on that last mission trip, and I wrote a little reflection about ministry being in the interruptions. I guess I'd viewed some of it as like spontaneity or whatever. But another thing, talking about interruptions, that was crazy. So I have a friend from college that I haven't seen. We were trying to remember, at least probably since 2018 or 2019. And randomly, I was taking Josh to school yesterday, and I get this text, and it's like, hey, my son's doing like a cross-country meet in Kernersville because this person lives a few hours away. I'm going to be in town. Can you meet tonight for dinner? And it's the same sort of thing. I was really tired last night, and we had a lot, because a lot had happened that day, like with Maria with school and different things, which I want you to talk really briefly about. But I was like, immediately, I was like, yes. And because interruptions, I think we always view them as being bad, like, oh, you're interrupting what was supposed to happen. But it was a really beautiful interruption, because I said yes. And then I went and got to catch up with this person. And we're both like, we have got to make sure that we connect. And I think the lesson for me in that is sometimes I'm trying to plan things with people like 8 months out or something. We're having to do that. But, there are lots of times when I sit around and I'm like, I wonder if anybody's free, or it would be fun to see somebody. And I don't know, it just encouraged me to maybe be the interruption and just send the text and ask, or, to say yes to the interruption, because most of the time I don't think you regret doing it. I think you're almost always glad you let it. When the interruption is about relationships and loving people, I'm not
there's
talking about
some bad interruptions, but this is that, the story that has been on my heart all summer is Jesus walking through the crowd, and the woman who had been bleeding for many years,
she reaches
out and touches him. And he's on his way to go visit someone who's dying.
Mm-hmm.
And this woman reaches out and touches him. And Jesus stops and says, all right, who touched me? And even his disciples are like, there's hundreds of people. Like, how do you know? He was like, no, someone touched me. I felt like it was her faith that he knew.
Yeah.
And so he stopped what he was doing. And he was on a journey to go.
Very important.
Yeah,
yes.
to give this woman what she needed.
Yeah.
And that's just been on my heart, that if Jesus can pause to focus on the need right then, in a situation that it was life or death.
Right.
Who am I to not pause?
To be like, oh no, I have to get to the whatever, the grocery store, so I can't be interrupted. I mean, that's the way we are sometimes, like, oh, well, I can't be interrupted because I need to watch my show tonight, or I have to get groceries or something, like we put these really trivial things over the most important things, which is like loving others, really. So one other thing to talk about interruptions super quick. We had a bit of an interruption with Maria. So yesterday I had, Maria had a bit of a crisis. So she's at School of the Arts and she is in a prosthetics class, which when she told us that, I thought she was going to be like making legs or something for people. But she's like, no, it's like making a nose on like a mask or something.
It's like special effects. It's special effects is what it is.
Exactly. And she was supposed to have a model that showed up, and at 9 or 9:30, her model had to cancel. And Maria's class was 10 to 12.
Yeah.
So I looked at my calendar and I was like, I can't, because it wasn't like I could move a meeting around or something. I had things. And she'd already asked you, but you have a beard. And so she didn't know if it would even work with you. But at that point, we were pretty desperate and we didn't want to hurt her because school's just started. So she didn't know, too, if this would, would she not get to do it at all? Would she get a 0? Like, what happens? She had no idea. So she asked you to come and you agreed. So tell us about.
That was an interruption. I had things to do and I did not want to do this.
This is one of those things you should put a picture up on.
I'll put some pictures.
Yes.
So Maria tells, I thought, fine. And I told her, I was like, this better win me Dad of the Year. Right. So I follow her to school. We go park on campus, go find the special effects building where they're going to do this at. We go in and there's only like 5 students in the class. And most of them already had their models there. A couple of them showed up later. But when I walked in, the teacher was blown away. She was like, who is this? And Maria's like, oh, it's my dad. He's going to be my model. And she got so excited. And so.
Because I've now acted in a film, as has Joshua, Jacob, and our friend Tim. You didn't get to act in one of Maria's films.
I was in a Dorito commercial.
Well, that's true. But I meant like we went to School of the Arts and acted in one then. But so this is your first time going to School of the Arts to because the Doritos commercial was here. This is your first time going on campus and like showing up there with these professors and stuff. Yeah.
So this lady then sits down the class and they all sit around this table and she's telling them, and this is like in a workshop, like, it's a special effects studio. It's not a classroom.
Right.
And so she's telling them a little bit about what's going to be going on. And she's like, can I have someone to volunteer that I can show everybody what we're going to be doing today? And this one girl's like, yeah, I'll do it. And so she goes and sits her down in this, looks like a barber chair, right? And it's in front of this huge mirror and there's all these lights and it's like what you would imagine a special effects makeup artist studio would look like. And she has all the other students come and kind of stand around.
Kind of like the makeup chair and stuff with those bright lights. Yeah.
So she's talking, she's mixing up this like batter, and I'm like, that seems like a lot. Because Maria had said,
it's a nose.
I'm making a prosthetic nose.
Right.
So I just envisioned her putting some clay on my nose and molding it and whatever, So it's like a fake nose that you would put on people.
Right.
No. This woman goes and starts putting saran wrap on this girl's head. And I'm like, what? And she's taping it down on the girl. And Maria turns around and looks at me with her eyes wide open and her mouth open. And I just mouthed to her, I'm going to kill you. And Maria's trying not to laugh. and holding it in. And then the woman takes this batter and just starts scooping out with her hand and dumping it on this woman's head and covers her entire head. Like, the only thing that was open was her nostrils. It covered her eyes. She had to just close her eyes and they just gunked it in there. It covered her mouth. Her mouth couldn't be open. It went down below her chin. It went on her head. And so the only thing open was her nostrils so she could breathe. You could not see anything else with this girl. And then after that, they had to let it dry. And then they wrapped it in this gauze, special gauze stuff that they were dipping in something and putting it on there. So, and then they had to mold and shape it. And then once that dried, they were able to take the mold off of the girl. I'm honestly starting to have a panic attack.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. Like,
to have all that all over your face like that. Yeah.
So then the teacher comes and she asked me, she said, "Do you want me to take off your beard?" I was like, "Come again?" And she's like, "Your beard, do you want me to shave it off?" I was like, "No, no, that's not what I signed up for." And she's like, "Okay." And
I envision somebody like Daniel Real too that had one of those really long beards, you know.
yeah, I don't have a big beard, but it's enough.
Still, it's you've got some time invested in it. Yeah.
And so the lady was like, "Well, we'll just put Vaseline on it because we don't want this stuff to stick to your hair because if it does, it'll pull it out."
Pleasant.
Yeah.
Like getting a wax job on your face.
So they had to put Vaseline all over my face. Mustache, beard, eyebrows. I mean, just gunked it on. And then I went and sat in the chair and Maria started doing her thing and the teacher was telling her and they put that stuff on my head. They closed my eyes. They put the stuff on my head and it was like ice cubes. It was so cold. And then the teacher was like, hurry, because it's going to dry. So then she's slapping it on my head and they're smoothing it all out. And fortunately, Maria had decided that she wouldn't do a full head in that it would cover my mouth and chin. She would do, she wants to create some kind of alien mask or something, but it would be one of those where like, your mouth is open. Like, you know, like it goes down below your nose, but around the outline of your mouth.
Your mouth would be the only part that would show.
If you're a Star Trek person, I kept thinking of like a Klingon. Yeah. You know, where like their mouths were able to move, but really from the cheek and the nose up was. Yeah. So I had to keep my mouth shut because stuff's running all down it. But at least my mouth was, I had the option to open it if I needed to. It took an hour and a half for them to do for the whole process. Yeah. And by the end, I would love to know how much that thing weighed because it was heavy, like heavy enough that like my neck was getting a little sore. Yeah. Like it rested on my head. It was several pounds. And then they had to pop it off and it didn't come off super easy. Yeah. And it finally came off and the teacher, I don't know how this works because it all is about the inside of the mold, not the outside. And so the teacher was like, "Oh, that's perfect." You know, she looked inside. She was like, "This is exactly what it should be," you know, whatever.
So cool.
So all of this
will
for
this
my
mask
daughter.
only fit your head then since it's molded to you? Is it a mask that will be made?
No, I mean, I think it could fit anybody.
Probably be made out of something.
Yeah, it'll be made out of something that anybody could wear, but obviously I have a huge head. Yeah. So it wouldn't fit a child.
But I think it's so interesting because like the same thing, then also Maria forgot her laptop and I know it's shocking everybody, but she's going to Disney to see friends and she needed to fly out and get to Charlotte. And she'd asked if one of us could bring it after work. And that means you're driving in 5 o'clock traffic and stuff. And I was like, I can't make it all the way to School of Arts because I had allowed an interruption and was going to meet my friend. But I didn't want her to come all the way home because they're doing all this construction and I was afraid she'd miss her flight. So the same sort of thing, I got Josh to drive and we looked at Life 360, decided we'd meet halfway. I took it to her. She was very appreciative. She was like, "I owe you so big for this. Thank you." You know, but I just think about, you talk about wanting to be dad of the year. I wish I could count how many times I've said to Maria, like, do I get like mom of the year for like these things? Because I don't think our kids realize sometimes the things that we drop, you know, to do for them. But I'll also say some of these things, though, are really fun because I feel like we learn and see some things. Like when else would you ever in your life get to kind of see this process. I mean, and I know it's not a process that you necessarily knew you wanted to see. You didn't wake up and think, I really want to know how they make those Klingon masks or whatever. But what a cool experience that's so outside of the realm of what your day-to-day life would bring to you.
Yeah.
It's just really enriching in that way and really cool. So you're helping your daughter, but you're also, and I like getting a glimpse into their lives. You know, I think that's why it used to be cool when parents could do like bring your kid to work day, you know, like, I don't know. I just think it's fun getting a glimpse into a side of people's lives that you don't ordinarily get to see. I think that's a really neat thing.
Yeah, it was neat, and it was cool. And
Yeah.
so, again, it was a cool experience with Maria.
Yeah.
Something we'll never forget. And
Yeah.
you know, it's just about those interruptions. You know,
You're gonna have to put the picture up. And the other thing, we haven't done a survey in a long time. I'm wondering if you would need to ask something about your limited edition birthday wishes.
yeah. Do you wish happy birthday to everybody?
Or do you limit your happy birthdays? Do you wish happy birthday to no one? Like, you know, what does this look like for you?
And there's two people that I share a birthday with, our friend Melissa and John.
Yeah.
And every year they text me on my birthday and I text them.
Yeah.
And so there is that's a gimme. Again, that kind of falls into the family thing where there's some birthdays that are expected.
Yeah.
And Melissa, John, and I do that just because we share the same birthday, and it's kind of fun when you find people who share your birthday and have that connection and that you're friends.
My friend Amanda's daughter was born on my birthday, and so I would sometimes message Amanda, but now because I did one of my spontaneous interruption trips and saw Amanda spent a lot of time with her daughter. So now, like, I know her daughter. So she's going to be one of those, since we share a birthday, we'll be like messaging. Yeah. It's a different kind of birthday bond.
But yeah, I have to figure out how many birthdays I want to give out in 2026. And
maybe your survey should be like, people should be like, it's not a survey, but people should be like writing a dissertation, sort of stating their case for why they deserve.
Why do you deserve?
Yeah. Why do you deserve one of Mike's limited edition? Or we could do a contest. Right now, I feel like Marissa and Katrina would win. They're our most loyal
I don't know about
followers.
Katrina. She's way behind.
But she's catching up, man. She is plowing through.
Do you know who else has jumped on the Hey, Are You Still There bandwagon?
Who?
Our friend's kid, Riley. Riley's 13, and his mom told me.
He may be our youngest listener.
May be. His mom said that, she's like, I don't know why, but he listens to y'all's podcast now all the time. So, Riley, if you're listening, thank you.
And Riley spent a week with us. We must have
went on the mission
really
trip with
made an
us.
Impact on him on that mission trip. You know, that like he's doing this. He's bringing down our average age like, of our listeners dramatically. Yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah, so maybe he'll deserve a birthday. You know, as the youngest, most dedicated listener. So.
He's got to step his game up a little bit, though, to get that.
Okay.
It's just, we're acknowledging him. As
yeah. And we have to know, too, is this just a phase?
Ross listens every week.
But is Riley in the honeymoon period, or is he going to really stick it out? We got to see.
That's what I'm saying. So we'll see about Katrina.
Yeah.
You know, Marissa, I think
she's
potentially. There's Luke, there's Ross. They're devoted listeners. And we have a bunch, but those are the ones who reach out. Kip. I mean, there's a lot of
they
people
reach out and tell us things like, oh my gosh, we like
but they're
this, or they
friends of
comment on
ours, and
Facebook.
they will text us and say, I agreed with this. I didn't agree with that.
Yeah.
Most of the times I agree with Mike.
No.
it
there's
is.
only been like one time, and I still kind of resent Marissa for it, that she agreed with you. But there's only like one time. I feel like everybody always agrees with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we will not let the record reflect that people were agreeing with you, because most of the time they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the podcast has been fun. Last week, I think it was, I told you, was our biggest week ever. And, it had the most downloads and streams that we've ever had. And, it's getting up in the triple digits per week, which is really good for us. And especially when you look at monthly downloads.
We don't advertise or do anything or have any type of celebrity status or anything.
We had a spike last week where it's like we moved to a new level. And
although I do have celebrity status in Maria's friend's eyes on LinkedIn. So one of her friends wants to be an engineer, and she went on LinkedIn and she's like, oh, Beth, you have like 4,000 plus followers. And then they said, one of the friends was like, she's a LinkedIn influencer, like using the LinkedIn influencer hashtag or whatever. And I was just like, oh, so maybe this is how I need to get on LinkedIn and advertise our podcast.
See, I just assume anytime there's an attractive woman on any of these things, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all these creepy dudes are just going to like follow you and whatever.
I don't like accept the weird people, all the bots,
I bet I could go if I there's a way. I don't do LinkedIn, but if I could see who follows you, there's like a bunch of people you don't know that you just accepted.
There's a ton of legitimate people though, teaching and stuff. I get a lot of people from that. But anyway.
Even with that, I don't accept everybody's friend request.
Of course you don't.
I'll meet people and next thing I know, I'll get a friend request from them and I'm like, I don't really know you. I'm not going to do it.
You're so exclusive.
I am.
I know. People just need to know like what a hurdle it is to be there.
Again, my friends on Facebook are less than yours.
Yes.
But you accept everybody.
I do not accept everybody.
Yes, you do. And
okay,
I am very
anyway.
I'm like a cat. Again, I'm either I may or may not. Depends on my mood that day.
But anyway, as we wrap up, one cool thing, though, about downloads. So it's funny because one of my friends from college had connected me with her friend whose daughter wanted to do the Disney college program. And we're setting up a phone call because I'm going to talk to this mom. But in the meantime, we recorded that interview with Maria and I sent that to the mom and said, of course, I'm still going to talk to you. But, this is, if you want to listen, this is Maria's perspective. We interviewed her so you can get some more of that. And so she messaged and said, I listened to the podcast already and feel like I learned so much. My daughter's going to listen as well. So anyway, that was just kind of neat to like send it to somebody and it was actually helpful to them.
You know what I did?
What did you do?
I posted it on the DCP Reddit page.
Oh, wow.
And it's gotten a lot of good responses on there.
Really?
Mm-hmm. People are very appreciative of it.
Well, see, and I think particularly, too, Maria did what I find was more obscure, like with doing the Epcot parking. I remember when I was trying to look, I'm on all those pages, and I was trying to find people who were doing parking, because so many people do food services and attractions. And janitorial. I feel like there were a ton. I couldn't find any information. So it's fun, I think, when you can find somebody that's actually done something, it gives you a little more like, a little less angst.
Right.
We'll have to find the bird page, the Audubon Reddit.
Yeah, there might be one on there.
Yeah, there may be. You never know. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. Well, hey, this is a good podcast, Beth, for not knowing. Were you not knowing what we're really going to talk about?
Well, I never know what we're going to talk about, but I knew even less about what we're going to talk about this time.
We just roll with it.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Well, hey, until next time, this has been Mike.
And Beth.
And this is Hey, Are You Still There?